And hello everybody, welcome back to LFC News. A bit of breaking news for you this afternoon, and it is with regard to Fabrizio Romano. Now Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein in the transfer space are very, very reputable, and along with Paul Joyce of course, are very, very reputable when it does come to transfer news. And Fabrizio Romano has provided some massive Liverpool transfer news as a forward deal is almost done. As always, guys, we will be breaking down this story, but please do first hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course get involved in the live chat. We'll be taking your reaction momentarily. It's been a very, very busy transfer window for the Reds. We've seen a lot of incomings. And we're still linked to potentially more incomings this summer. Especially the area that we need to be looking out on is, of course, those forward positions. Of course, we brought in Hugo Ekitike. We've also, of course, brought in we're also heavily linked with Alexander Isak. And some people questioning, well, how are we going to be having all these forward players? And when Darwin Núñez is apparently on his way out of the football club, and Luis Diaz. Now, Luis Diaz is the man we're going to be speaking about today, as Fabrizio Romano has provided some huge transfer news with regard to him, and that is with regard to a move to FC Bayern München. Now, of course, this is what Fabrizio has had to say. He said, FC Bayern are closing on a deal to sign Luis Diaz from Liverpool. Agreement at final stages, with details still being sorted. A €75 million package with add-ons included. Contract until June 2029. Liverpool and Bayern are discussing add-ons. Details then here we go soon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is some huge news. This is massive. Luis Diaz looks as though he is all but done in terms of on his way out of the football club. And to be fair with Lucho, I'm going to be put my cards on the table. I love him. I love Luis Diaz, and have been in love with him since he joined the football club, of course, back in 2022 from FC Porto. So kind of sad to see him go, honestly, but with the way those forward positions are going, Hugo Ekitike brought in, and potentially Isak, the fact maybe we're selling him and we're selling potentially Darwin Núñez probably suggests that Alexander Isak is definitely on the cards this summer. Mo Salah, Ekitike and Isak. What a frightening front three we could have in place for the Reds going into our title defence. But as stated, Diaz on to Bayern Munich. Wow. A good move for him, but what I want to do is, everyone's been talking about how much the club have been spending this summer. Not a lot of people are seeing the business go in terms of the outgoings. 75 million, I love Lucho, but 75 million euros for him is tremendous business. It really is good business by this club once again in terms of selling. I can't actually remember how old Luis Diaz is. I want to say 27, but he's certainly, I suppose 28, 29 in January. 75 million euros. I think that's really good. That's half of Isak's transfer fee. So, whilst I'm sad to see him go, I think we're definitely going to be levelling up. I genuinely do believe we're going to level up with these new additions. But, of course, there, ladies and gentlemen, here we go soon with regard to Luis Diaz. Moving on to some other transfer news, of course, because there has been talk about Darwin Núñez as well. So it's interesting with the forward positions, because Darwin Núñez, of course, is being linked with a move away as well. It's being said that I think Fabrizio said yesterday that Darwin was going to be very close to be leaving the football club, or would be leaving 100% this summer. So it'd be interesting. It is really interesting, the fact that we could be getting rid of a couple of forward players. But then the news with regard to Isak is that Isak has rejected Saudi clubs and only wants to move to Liverpool. So we'll have to see what happens with the whole Isak move as well. This is certainly following the conclusion of this Diaz transfer. We could probably see things move on really quickly, and things heat up very quickly from a Liverpool perspective. So yeah, I'm interested, very much interested to see how it all pans out. Let's have a little look at some more news just whilst we're live, because Isak was taking up the headlines yesterday. Today, of course, it is with regard to Diaz. But let's see if there's any more going on in the Liverpool space at this moment in time. Well, I mean, Newcastle, of course, are exploring a move for Benjamin Sesko as well of RB Leipzig, which suggests that they're trying to get their player in, and then, of course, go for then willing to let Isak go. PIF funding Isak for us, says John W. Henry. Yeah, I would agree with that. For those of you that are subscribed to our sister channel, Panenka, we've got an interesting deep dive coming up this week, actually, with regard to Isak and how Ekitike and Isak could actually fit into the team together, which will be certainly an interesting watch. People have been asking me, that's probably my biggest asked question on YouTube, is how is Hugo Ekitike, how is Alexander Isak going to fit into the same team? Well, we'll find out very, very soon. We're going to be breaking it down, and it's not as problematic as you probably diagnosed at the start, but we'll have to see on that regard. Let me just see what else is in the Liverpool space as well. Of course, we did do a deep dive on the Milan game yesterday. Of course, you don't look into too much with pre-season, but you know, with some players out, we're still, of course, trying new ideas. But this transfer window has been one for the ages, hasn't it? Players in, players out, wholesale changes as well. And you've also got to remember the situation with Diogo in those forward positions as well, which, you know, is not something that a club can really nothing a club can really do in these tragic circumstances as to how we lost Diogo. But unfortunately, and whilst I don't want to come across as heartless, obviously not, but you know, the club would have to get a replacement for him as well. Aisha says, hit the likes, people. Yes, Aisha is absolutely correct, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I think we're closing on 70,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, thank you so much for the support here in the channel. And as we said, the guys behind the scenes do a lot of work, bringing you the news and all that sorts of stuff. So, yeah, we'll keep on trying doing our best over this transfer window to keep you up to date. But, yeah, to conclude, guys, Luis Diaz on his way. It's all but done. FC Bayern are about to sign Diaz for 75 million euros, which would be interesting to see what the next steps are from the incoming side on a Liverpool perspective, of course, of seeing Isak potentially come through. But my thoughts on it, yeah, love Diaz, but I do think 75 million euros for a player that turns 29 is pretty good. Player wants out. I think it's good business from Liverpool Football Club. But yet again, it just goes to show Liverpool really are the best in the business when it does come to sort of transfers, incomings and outgoings, and of course staying PSR compliant, which the other clubs can't say that they're doing. So yeah, let's see what happens. But guys, thank you for tuning in. I won't take up any more of your time. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Closing on 70k, and we'll be bringing you up to date with more information as the transfer window goes on. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.